Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. You've talked a lot about your family, and that's been a blast just getting to learn more about that side of your life, because our interactions have really just been around basketball.
Right.
How do you balance coaching and family life?
It's been the biggest challenge of my life thus far, especially as I get older and my kids get older. When they were younger and they were in a crib or they were in a high chair or something, they never knew any different, right? But now they have awareness and needs, and then they start paying attention to dad's body language, and then they see dad, temperature rising. So my daughter, I've got this vein that runs through the side of my head, and she comes to the games. And Matt, I would tell you this year, she would sit on the score table and she would hand me the scoreboard, only in the NAI, man. This is beautiful, right? Yeah. So she would hand me the dry erase board, look at me with these big blue eyes. And at that point I knew, calm down, man. It's not the end of the world. And so you talk about evolution. It's something that I pay attention to every day, because, if I don't have balance, then I don't have perspective, because what am I doing? I mean, I could win another national championship here, Matt, and I'm going to tell you right now, my paycheck won't get any more. It just won't. That's the world we live in. In small college athletics, it's not like some person's going to go, oh yeah, let's give this dude a $40,000 raise. It doesn't happen. I mean, I'm aware of that, but I'm also okay with that, because I drove here today. I didn't get dropped off. I chose to come here. So in my life, I have to find balance, because I love basketball, but I don't love it that much. I love my family. I love my life. I love my opportunity to go home at night and possibly be the guy that they need me to be, And so where did I learn that? Why did it resonate with me? I have no clue. I didn't have this moment of life where my parents are still married 54 years later. How blessed am I, right? My in-laws are married 56 years later. How blessed am I? And so I've got 4 kids that are at home, and not one in a hospital, one doing this, doing that. How blessed am I? So you talk about being hypocritical. That's something that I choose every day to try to not be, is that I've got to have balance, because I owe it to them, right? I mean, they didn't do anything wrong for me to go home and be a turd. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. There are days that I walk in, I slam my phone down and catching it right away. But I do also have a very strong wife, and she's very aware, and she'll point me out and say, not tonight, bud. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how mean you look, but it ain't happening in here. And so those type of things work out well. My kids are a valuable part of my life and program here. So there's times where they come up here and like, Dad, can you rebound for me? Or can you just sit in the office and play school with me? Or, whatever it might be. And so those things are all a kind of balance. And it also, Matt, who you kidding? This level allows us to have balance, right? I'm not recruiting nationally 365 days a year. Could I coach at that level? I don't know. I haven't had to show it. So balance comes with this level. And I'm going to choose to take that opportunity rather than have it taken away from me. I think it also deals with the circumstances. I hope I'm smart enough to know my surroundings, right? And so this job allows me balance. This job allows me awareness. This job allows me to go home at night to my kids rather than be on the road recruiting or traveling 10 days at a time. So those are all things that I chose. Maybe it chose me. I don't know. I just look at it like I have to take advantage of the opportunities that are given me. And that is, I chose to be married. I really try hard and choose to be a great father. That remains to be seen. But this level in this school also allows me to have that balance. And so I take advantage of it, man. I don't lose 1 second, I hope, of knowing that there's days I'm not perfect, but there's also days that I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to have balance, rather than, we all know those coaches out there that would just love to hang around the lobby of a hotel instead of being home with their wife and kids. And so that's a choice they make, and this is a choice I make.
I love that you keep using that word choice or choose. We want our players to choose to, like you said, even back to your culture piece, choose to
Right.
be there. Like, we're not forcing you. I love the
Right.
dating analogy and all of that. It seems to me like you have chosen just to be faithful in that place that where God has you, and he's
Right.
had you there for 21 years.
Yep.
Let me ask you, because I'm 10 years at Faith, and I feel that way. I'm not. I know that there are bigger places in high school basketball than Grapevine Faith Christian School. And I know how few of the people out there really care about, what we're doing.
Right.
But I'm going to do my very, very best. And I love it here. My question is, did you always feel that way? Or was there a time in your life, your coaching career, where you had a hunger or a desire maybe for that life like you just talked about, but
Yeah.
then family, kids came along and you were able to have that click moment?
Yeah. I think every year about this time, that creeps in your life because, once August starts, I mean, obviously no one leaves jobs or does anything, but you always, I'm constantly searching for challenges, right? Like, can I do this? Can I do the next thing? Can I do this? Can we regroup? Can we do all these different things? And I mean, Matt, tomorrow an opportunity might present itself to me, and it might be so lucrative that I can't turn it down. I mean,
Yeah.
it now becomes about my family and not about me anymore, And so those are situations that we fight daily, right? As men, as fathers, we're sitting there going, okay, are we making enough money? Are we securing some future things for our kids that we don't see right now, right? And so I don't know. I don't think I ever had an epiphany of some sort that says this is what it's going to be for me. I, I've just always been very loyal in the sense of it would be very hard for me to leave because of the relationships I have. I think that my stick here, that my talking and moving and personality, I'd have to start all this over again. Man,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, okay, it might work and it might not, but this is kind of a piece of my identity now. When I
Yeah.
walk the halls, I see the pictures, I have the relationships, I have former players come back, I have this and that. And, those guys that bounce from job to job and do all these different things, man, in my opinion, that's got to be just exhausting, right? I hope this place kind of speaks for itself at times. Like maybe our reputation precedes us a little bit, and so I look at it like it makes my job a little bit easier because I am so loyal, and because I'm so prideful in this place. And heck, I mean, we're in Fort Worth, not in the middle of Oklahoma. None of my friends there, I hope are offended, but uh, you know, I don't mind having a ton of places to eat and great golf courses and great weather and, facilities in which we can get in and out of town. So my wife's got a great job. So yeah, there are times that I probably look back at 46 years old and say, I wish I would have done this and this to maybe put myself on a different track. But man, who's to say I would have this great wife and kids and
Yeah.
have this conversation with you? I could be some knuckleheads that just talks around hotel rooms and lobbies this weekend saying, I wish I could have done this and that, when it's in essence, I've kind of done it, and that's how I feel. And so I'm pretty comfortable with that. But thankfully I've made choices that allowed me to do that. I know the last question you were going to ask me was, there anything I've done differently?
Yeah. I feel
And
like let's just go right into that. That's great.
yeah, and really, when I thought of that question, I think I wish I would have done a better job putting myself out there. I didn't. I was always really secure in my faith in my place here. And like, Coach G always used to say to me, you do a terrible job of networking or of selling yourself, like
Marketing. Yeah.
social media marketing. And I'm like, Matt, dude, I got enough problems. I don't need anybody questioning me. Like, I'm terrible at Twitter. I'm terrible at Instagram. Like, I don't want to make it about me. I want to make it about us. And sometimes it's super important. Like this week, I tweeted out, or last week, I tweeted out the importance of this story of my assistant coach in his fight with terminal cancer. I think it's important that people are aware of what he's doing on a day-to-day basis to get here to help these young men. So to me, that's promotion. That's newsworthy. Whereas
Yeah.
I I'm not going to sit here and make these, what are they, graphics of me cheering on this and that. Shit, man. You talk about uncomfortable, brother. I'll start sweating, and I mean, look how awkward and bad built I am. Why do I need to put that on some sort of media?
Whatever.
So,
I
so
had
yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would have found maybe that common ground of self promotion or salesmanship. Personally, I don't have a problem talking to you about this program, what it's all about, my faith and this and that. Those are all stuff that I'm very confident in. But to sit there and go, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I'm this, I'm that. Gosh, I'm terribly uncomfortable about it. I just don't. I just don't like it, and so that would be something that I think is tremendously valuable right now because these kids buy into that. These young guys really look at social media and say, this is pretty confident. This is that. This is cool. This is, that. And look at, if you don't want to be here and listen to this crap and really look yourself in the mirror and challenge yourself to be better, then hell yeah, I'm not going to get the best out of you anyway. And you're probably not going to make me any better anyway. So it's kind of, like people used to argue, like, why would anybody coach Bob Knight or go to Bob Knight to be coached? Well, like, you chose to go there. You knew what he was before you got there. Why are you arguing that now? It's not like you didn't know he was going to be hard on you or whoever, right? And so these conversations are things that we all probably need to adjust to. But I in the world in which we're living, podcasts and social media and all these different things, there's probably something that I could probably do a little bit better to help this program as far as, I guess, pitching myself out there a little bit more, because I am regardless of how I feel about saying this, I guess I am a big part of this program. And so, not physically, but
Coach, you're a pretty big deal. You're a pretty big deal, and I appreciate the humility there. And thank you for sharing. Everything that you just did. I struggle with the two. I know it sounds weird to say that because if you're watching it, I have a shameless plug of the book right there. But the whole thing is, like, I know I do this podcast, but honestly, man, like, it started because I was talking to a lady, a girls coach in Rockwall. During COVID, we were doing a Zoom. She wanted to talk about shooting, and somehow it got around to where she talked about a culture thing that she does with her team, how she takes them out to a cabin. At first in my head, I was like, well, that's not special. I mean, a lot of people do trips. And then she started to talk about some questions that she asked her team and what it did. And I just told her, I was like, Coach, that's awesome. And I started to think about how many coaches out there are out there that do great things that I can learn from. But, if you don't win state, if you don't win a national championship, you're not getting invited to speak at TABC. And that's, and that's about it. And so that was the whole motivation. The cringy part of me with all of this, I like to sit here and just ask you questions.
Yeah.
There's a few times where people turned around and back at me, and it catches me off guard because that's not really what I'm doing here. Right. But I had a Chris Hill, a Jesuit, say that I had the best, least known podcast out there because I mean that because I struggle with ways like you to I'm happy to do the Grapevine Faith Basketball social media account because that's me promoting the guys. Sure. My own. Oh, I can't stand it. But you know what? Like, I was thinking about what you said is you're one of the few guys that doesn't do that. That actually, that kind of makes you cool. Like, you're different. You're not.
You're different than for thinking I'm cool, because I don't think.
But isn't that what?
I think I'm way behind.
Well, Coach, but see, now everybody's doing it. Yeah. And there's gonna come a time where I actually think it's already where Kevin Durant said, this is back when I kind of liked him. He said, humble is cool, humble is in, like something like cocky is out, humble is in, arrogance out, humble's in, something like that. I think I butchered that.
Do you know Brendan Sir that does
coaching you,
right? So we're on the bus back from the national championship. And again, this isn't a plug of any sort, but he calls me up and I'm like, what? And I knew him from David Patrick, so I knew the name, whatever. And he says, I'm going to ask you to do this coaching you deal. And I mean, I don't know if you remember the lineup there. And then you got me, and I'm thinking, this guy used me particularly so everybody could get up and get a drink, go to the bathroom, get a snack, run out to have something.
I'm right during lunchtime.
And then come back and they can get Jamie Dixon right after me. And I'm thinking, this guy's genius, man. He plugs me in there so everybody can get up and go to the bathroom. I mean, that was my first thought. Like, and I shouldn't be thinking that way. You know, I mean, we all have our strengths. We all have our platforms to stand on, or God wouldn't have put us in these shoes. You know,
Yeah.
If we wanted to work a discount tire, no offense, but if we wanted to change tires all day, then that's what we would be. But we're not. And so I think that we all have a light to shine a little bit, and some of us are better than others. But I'm thankful that you asked me. I've listened to a dozen of these things, and every once in a while I skip over it because I forget to check Twitter or something, and I find
that's
it.
Okay, Coach. That's okay.
No, but your approach is so good because it's humble and it's direct and it's basketball with some faith in there, and it's sprinkled all over directions, and you don't discriminate like most podcasts want to go after these big tweet or click guys, you know. And then obviously when I saw you had Clint on there, I was like, he's going to get anybody on this thing.
If he got that dude on there, but you know what's funny is
I was only hoping Clint had a tie on, you know, and slicked his hair over and all that stuff. But no, he's the best.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.